Hello and welcome. Thank you for stopping by today for another Knitty chat. If you're new here, my name is Jess and I'm coming to you from the west coast of Central Florida. This channel is mainly about knitting, although I do occasionally include spinning and crochet content and rarely some sewing. So if you're ready to catch up with me this week, then grab your project and let's get to it. So I am not doing Vlogmas, although I'm kind of doing a hybrid. I figured since I'm probably only going to be recording at my regular schedule, I would put some Vlogmas style things in the videos, but most of that will be at the end. So that way, if you're not interested, don't care, that's not for you, I totally get it. That will be at the end. And there will be timestamps or chapters in the description box, which is also where my contact information is and other items that I talk about today. I, as you see, am in a different setting again. Everybody's out of the house, so I thought, well, the tree is up. Let's turn it on, record, and sit here. It doesn't look as good as it does at nighttime. It is, what's today? December 8th, 2025. And it is around, let's see, 10:40 in the morning, if you want to be precise. So I thought I'd have a seat over here. The lighting is a bit weird. You might be able to see some sun trying to start coming out. It was gray and gloomy and rainy all weekend. And yesterday we had thunderstorms and downpours on and off all day. So it was much more like the summer. We're supposed to be getting into our dry season here in Florida, but our wet season is pretty dry. Not a single hurricane or tropical storm. Well, no, tropical storm isn't true. Yeah, not a single storm. Severe tropical cyclones or hurricanes reached our shores this hurricane season, which I think the statistics say hasn't happened for 10 years. So that's fantastic. But that does mean the lighting isn't so great. So we'll see how this goes. So I'm a little bit later than I wanted to be recording. I think I'm kind of sinking into a hole in my sofa. Let me try here. And the reason why I am drinking a room temperature herbal tea is that I am still on cold, lukewarm foods, soft foods, baby foods, because I had some dental work done last week, a temporary crown put on a tooth, and the wisdom tooth behind it, which is my last one, was pulled. And I think I have dry socket now, and I've had a very painful weekend, and the dentist can't see me until tomorrow. So it's intermittent, so hopefully we'll be fine here, but I haven't done this much talking, so we'll see how this goes. So in my little hand-painted mug that I got, it's going to reflect the light from the ring light, I apologize. That I got in Ireland this past summer this year. And I'll put the maker up there if you want, but anyway. So what do I have for you since last time we spoke, which was just over a week ago. So I'm kind of on track for my normal play. And we're still, if I look like I have COVID hair still, it's because I'm growing it out and I haven't been for a haircut for over 2 months, but this week. So the fun stage, growing out the short hair. Anyway, that's more vloggy. Let's get into the knitty. So I actually, sitting down this morning, I thought, okay, do I have any finished objects since last time? And I realized, oh yeah, I have three small finished objects, but they're finished. So I'll share those with you. So let's get to it. All right, up first, why don't we talk about socks? So these are, I finished the pair of DRK Everyday Socks, a pattern by Andrea Mowry. These are knit toe up. I used, as the main color, this is West Yorkshire Spinners Signature 4-ply yarn in the color Pheasant. So it is a self-patterning yarn. And for the toes and the cuffs, I used Rambler, which is the yarn from the Woolly Thistle. It is a blend of wools with no nylon in it, but it's a really rustic, good yarn, not just for socks, but it's also nice for other fingering weight items. So I had that left in my stash and thought that color went pretty well with the color scheme here. Now these are for my mother. So even though I measured my gauge and did the math, I think because of this ribbing pattern, my math was off for working when to start to heel the gusset increases. The math I knew didn't sound right because I knew how long I normally knit for my foot before I start increases based on my other fingering weight toe-up socks. So I extended that by about 1/2 inch. Well, it turns out I needed about another almost 1/4 to 1/2 inch more. So another like centimeter or so, 2 maybe, not quite 2 centimeters, for it to fit my foot. So they're a little too short. My mother saw my photo and said, oh, she really likes them. She has a size smaller foot than I do. So these are now for her up in Minnesota. She will love these. I was thinking that they felt really kind of crunchy before I washed them, but they have softened up really nicely. I think she's gonna love this pair of socks. So that's finished object number 1. Up next, I have, oh, let's talk about holiday things since it's the holiday. I made a can cozy or koozie for my sister on request. So I talked about this before, that I've made some of the sleeves, which is what this pattern is for. They're really for cups, like your coffee cup or something cylindrical that you just slip it into. But she uses canned beverages and she wanted something with a bottom, so that style. So I, just around the campfire, I think I showed this part before, I just crocheted a circle and increased until I got to the total number of stitches that the pattern called for. So the pattern I'm using is up here on the screen. It is a pattern I had for a while. I've used before from Pacific Knit Co. And these colors were chosen by my sister, and they are Moonglow Yarn Co.'s DK colorways for the holidays. So the information on those will be in the link to my Ravelry page below. If that's not accessible to you, just shoot me a message and I'll let you know. So that will be going up to her in Minnesota as well. So I'm just going to send a whole box of things I've been knitting up to them. Probably not by Christmas, maybe. Depends on how fast I can knit the last 2 items. So I plan to make more of these in the future, but I have so many other things right now. But when I want something small, this is the thing to knit, right? So handy and make really easy gifts. So let's see, moving right along. Try to keep this short. Hope the tooth doesn't kill me. Let's move into works in progress. So the second one I'm working on, I know my sister has her eyes on that because of the colors. I plan to work on that this weekend to get that thing finished because I am on clue 4. So on that shawl, I know I showed that last time. So I'm pretty sure I shared this last time. Maybe that'll be edited out. So for the other one, I don't have it here. You won't be able to see it with the lighting, the dark purple one. I am finishing up. I'm on the lace section here, so I have a couple of repeats to go on that before I get to the garter. I was thinking about making it longer, but I'm not really sure where to repeat it. I guess I could just do the garter section longer on that one, but I'm not enjoying the garter section. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll show my sister how this one fits. And if she thinks that's good as a kind of cowl close to your neck shawl, or if she wants something looser, that will determine it. Or maybe because I'm getting fed up knitting it, she's just gonna get it when I finish it. I think that's probably how it's gonna go, isn't it? So as I mentioned, I've become an accidental gift knitter this Christmas, either because mistakes I made or things I just maybe don't enjoy so much, or I do love them. I love knitting one skein shawls because they are great gift projects, and I don't mind giving them away because, I don't know, well, the people that really want it will use it. I don't mind gifting those items. Now this pattern, well, it's nice, it looks nice, and is easy to knit. I would say as a standalone pattern, if it was just out there, I probably wouldn't have picked it up to knit it. There's nothing wrong with it. It just don't feel like, ooh, I really want that. I don't get that feeling from this pattern, but it's really effective and the lace is really pretty. So I'd like the finished product, just didn't enjoy the process so much. Right, so moving into works in progress. One of the items I have, I'll have to show you a picture up here because it's on the blocking mats, is Hisu by Vera Valimaki. I finished the body last night and now I just am blocking the sleeves and just the back of the neck and sides to get them to lay flat so that I can pick up stitches and work the finishing items on there. So that is drying and the air conditioning's not on, so it's taking a little bit longer for that to dry as a DK weight merino linen blend. But oh, I love it. I love the texture. It's squishy, it's drapey. I can't wait to wear that. So when I see you next time, maybe I'll be wearing it. All right, the rest of what I've cast on, because of course you finish items, gotta cast something else on, were socks, naturally. Well, now I've ended up with 3 pairs of socks that I'm knitting. The 4th pair is ready to get cast on once I get the yarn, but they're really my New Year's Eve cast on socks, so they're probably going to wait for that. So spoilers coming up. I have a spoiler for the Freckled Whimsy 24 stripe advent. So if you don't want to see that, it's not really much of a spoiler because you get the yarn. You have to unwind the 2 hanks and wind them into balls so you see all the colors. But anyway, I am ahead of the day because I'll talk about it in a minute, but that's one spoiler warning for you. The other one is I will be talking about the Farmer's Daughter Fibers Sock Squad yarn for December. So if you have not received yours and you don't want to see it, then when I get to that point, look away. There's not much to show you, but you'll see the colors. So that's that warning. Okay, so let's start with the Advent socks from Freckled Whimsy. I am actually in the middle of this morning's row on sock number 2. So I got the, as I mentioned before, I got the single 24 stripe sequence on the DK weight socks. So that's the Advent, that's the mini remains in there, part of them. And that's the base. It is really soft. I will say though, sometimes my ChowGoo needle tips will split this yarn. So that annoys me sometimes, but that's just because the sharp needle tips. This is soft yarn. It's not a tight ply. So that's just how it is. I am knitting them 2 at a time on some ChowGoo Spall circulars in, let's see, what size am I using? I think they're 2.75 millimeter. I'm not sure which. Sorry about that. You hear those parakeets. Those are parakeets from Argentina. And they have just spread. Don't know how they got here. And they love Florida and they've been multiplying over the last decade or so. So the lovely screechy noise you hear, that's what you hear outside. Anyway, back to the socks. So this one's, I haven't finished. This is one of the socks. Let me tuck my little ends in. The reason why, let's see what happened. So I wasn't sure about size. So for DK weight socks, I find, of course, you have light DK to sport to heavier, right? DK varies, like yeah, fingering weight varies. Fingering weight, I can adjust things because I've made a lot of socks in fingering weight. DK, I haven't as much. So in order to get the gauge I like and the size for the socks, I cast on the cuff, started with, let's see, what am I making now? I think I started with 56 stitches for my foot and 2x2 ribbing. I did a German twisted cast on. Oh, the sock pattern I'm using are the Magic Heel Socks DK version. I have modified it. I basically just got this pattern because I wanted the information for the heel. I'm not doing the texture. It's interesting in the top part of the leg, but where she has it on the ankle, I'm like, it doesn't look right to me. It makes me think of kinkles, you know, like you're swollen or something there. I don't know. No, I didn't want it textured anyway. I just wanted vanilla socks. So I had to knit enough that I could get my gauge to figure out what size socks I wanted to make. So that meant going into a couple of the stripes. Because what I did is on one of the socks only, I cast it on, did the knitting, the ribbing, switched to the first color stripe, which is this one here, this beautiful teal color, knit the first round to avoid that blip from the purl stitches when you change color, and then continued the ribbing through to the end of that stripe color, and then started knitting the other colors. So I did that on 56 and 52, and I thought 56, and it was too big. I put them on to magic loops so I could try them on, and I thought, well, they fit, they go on easily, but they go on very easily, and I knew they felt kind of baggy in the leg. So I decided to do is keep the 56 stitch cuff, and then when I started this first round of, actually you can see that there, let's hide it. When you start the first round of the next stripe where I'm just knitting plain, I decreased 4 stitches evenly around to bring me down to 52 stitches. And so that's what I'm knitting for the sock. Whew, that was a lot. All right, so we have December 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. And I did say today is December 8th. So because I had started this earlier, and I don't care, they're my socks. I can knit them whenever I want to. And I won't get through all 24 stripes, so I should be done before Christmas anyway. I love the color sequence. I love these colors. I like that alternation of a saturated tone and then a lighter tone of each color. And today we've merged into these purple colors, and eventually coming up will be those. Those are the rest of the colors. So I don't know that I'm going to get into the reds, but if there's enough left over, hopefully I can make a pair of just shorties, like house socks, really short shorties or something. All right, what's the magic heel? Basically, you just keep knitting, but you do ribbing for a large length of time. I think for my size, it's almost 5 inches is what it's called for. I'm not sure. I'm going to try it on because obviously I don't want it going all the way down to where I want to start the toes. Somewhere about mid-arch is where I want it to stop. So I thought I would give this a try because supposedly this is a good fit if you have that high instep, which I do, and I have a much more wedge-shaped foot, not a flat one. So I need a lot of room in the heel area, and I can't just take stitches from the front or do anything like that because that doesn't give me enough ease. Yeah, I didn't want to have, anyway, this is what I wanted to try. So I thought I would give them a go and see how that is. Now I am doing a little color management, again, to try to avoid the blip from the purl stitches. So this is a pay-for pattern, so I'm not going to talk about numbers. But in this ribbed pattern, if the color, which you can see here, the color changes in the middle of that, what I do is at the first start of that color change, I'm going this way. First start of the color change, I will just knit everything. Until I've had a row that I've gone into already, and then I will start doing the knit and purl. So here I just knit to the end, came around. When I came up here and I got to the marking for my heel stitches, I knit across until I had more stitches and I could resume the ribbing up there. So in the pattern, they have you finish the texture pattern up here. I'm just keeping the instep in stockinette and doing the heel stitches over here. I was going to say something else about that, where the brain has gone bye-bye for a moment. Let me see if I can remember. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so I have those. So I'm working, so I work one stripe on one sock and then I do the other one. And that's what I do in the morning. I come out, get a cup of coffee, go back, sit on my bed, let the coffee cool off to being not iced coffee, but no longer hot coffee so that my mouth doesn't get mad at me. My gums don't pulsate. And yeah, and then knit on around a stripe of these. So I am loving these. It's really soft yarn. These are going to be super cozy. And these are mine. My sister will not take these socks from me. She cannot have these. And I'm housing it here in my little drawstring project bag that I sewed a couple years ago with some fabric from Joanne Fabrics, who is no more, sadly. These cute gnomes. And just some leftover fabric that I had. What do I have on the inside? Oh, I've got some, I think it's snowflakes in there in a little pocket. There's my sewing content. Just a little drawstring pouch with a boxed bottom. All right, check this shirt. I found, I don't notice until I'm in editing that sometimes some of the shirts I've worn after raising my arms around and talking to you, that right, the shirt's like this or rumpled up, and I can't see it because of my distance to the camera, and I'm not supposed to be looking at myself because otherwise, because I need to look at the camera over there. So I don't notice it, but it drives me nuts when I'm in editing, and I'm sorry if it drives you nuts too, that my shirt's like off wrong. Maybe you don't pay attention. Drives me nuts, but I'm not re-recording those episodes, so I'm gonna try to remember to check myself here. I know I'm in my black shirt. I did try to sit in front of something, so here's my what am I sitting in front of? This is a corner to corner crochet blanket that I made, I don't know, several years ago. It's like leftover acrylic yarns, like Red Heart or something horrible feeling in my hands like that, but you know, it works. And it comes out this time of year, so maybe I should turn him the other way so I get his face over there instead of his antlers coming out of my body. Now I can have a red nose coming out of my side instead. See, there we go. Fix the shirt. All right, what else we on? All right, more socks. And if you're watching Melina, the Playful Knitter, she is an avid sock knitter as well. I hope you're enjoying all the socks you're going to see today. All right, oh, I forgot to look up how I might be pronouncing this word. Do I dare try it now? Well, here's the name of the socks, somewhere up here, maybe in front of here so you can see it. I want to say Yulguba, but I don't know. So it's a pattern by Anina of Anayuti Knits. So it's, I'm sure, a Finnish word since she's Finnish. That's being housed in another Nomi winter project bag. This is the one I took with me to Australia during our summer because I thought, oh, it's winter down there. I can take my Nomi winter bag as my project bag. And I had this cute leftover flannel polka dot fabric. Anyway, it's a nice big sack, more than a bag, I think. Right, I cast these on Friday, I think it was. Friday evening. Oh, we'll just do the cuff and we'll see how this goes. And I couldn't stop. I had to make myself go to bed. It was after 11 and I thought, you need to go to bed, woman. Put the socks down. I couldn't stop myself. I was enjoying them. So it's a really well-written pattern. It is charted instructions, so if you're not used to using a chart, maybe that's a good time to start. It does contain baubles. Baubles, I'm not a fan of making, but I do like the baubles, especially here. Well, that's the side with the mistakes, so let's turn around to here. No mistakes so far. Here you go. They're that cuff down, and the baubles are the cute little pom-poms up here. So I'm still trying on that epic quest that we have to do colorwork socks to make it look nice and even and not have the jog. So I am a magic looper, but I did work these on short circulars. Some of my floats I'm not too happy with. There's going to be a lot of fiddling when we're done, not now, on these. I think it worked okay. My tension was definitely looser. I may have overcompensated, but they fit. I got them on really easily. So I'm thinking I could have possibly done magic loop, just going, I don't know. I don't like to go up a needle size because then the tension doesn't look as good. I want the tension more consistent. So really it's adding stitches, but this is already the largest size in the pattern and I didn't want a gigantic sock. Although it could hang by the fireplace if it gets too big. And you can definitely see that my tension has changed. You can see where I did pick up after doing the heel and started doing magic loop. I'm not sure why those are so tight, but there's the rest of it. So I definitely changed the tension, but you know, it's a sock and this part's my foot and who's looking at it that closely, and I don't mind. But what I did was I stuck to the same needles that I used to knit the cuff, which are US 1 or 2.25 millimeter needles. No, I lie. I did use 2.25 millimeter needles for the cuff, and then I went up a size to US 1, no, they're US 2s, 2.5 millimeter needles. That's what I had to work. I had one, there's only one sock, so 2 at a time because I only have one of those. I think they're Addies. Yeah. Anyway, really fun, easy pattern. Love the little baubles in his hat. I got to fix that. I did make that mistake when I was knitting and I found them and I thought I fixed them all, and it wasn't until I took a picture that I saw that that's not supposed to be there. So I love them. What else I love is it's a slip stitch heel flap, but it's worked. The decreases for the gusset are worked here on the bottom. You see this little V down there? Oh, that's better. And you have another little chart just to continue that light stitch in there. I love that because it doesn't disrupt the color work in the sock, like I can show you now, right? But anyway, let's try. It doesn't disrupt the color work. I love that. And I have some more colorwork socks coming up to knit that I'm going to see if I can incorporate that into those patterns, because often in colorwork, it's a short row heel. They don't fit me. I could, you could stop and then just knit the rest and do a heel flap and gusset, but I'm going to see if I can do the math to work out something similar, maybe not a pattern in there, but something similar on my New Year's Eve cast on colorwork socks that I will show you later. Anyway, love these socks, such a fun pattern, and I'm only have about, I think, another ½ inch or so to go before I do the toes, and then I can cast on number 2. Yarns, what am I using? The main color was an acquisition I got from Darn It Anyway, and it's coming up really, really red on here. It's not, it's like this. It is called, I think it's actually called Christmas Red. I thought, oh, I do have the label. It's color number 5607, and it is Cascade Heritage. So I haven't used this yarn before, but I really enjoy it. It is a 437 yards per 100 gram skein. It's nice and soft. It's like, to me, the perfect Christmas red. It's not the bright, cherry red. It just comes out like, there you go. So like that. I really love that. And then as the white in there, I'm using, what is this? Oh, this is Knit.Purl.Repeat in the color white. Knit.Purl.Repeat fingering in the color white. For, I don't know if you can see, for the face is slightly different colored. I had a leftover of this sort of natural color, Bear, I think it is, to use. So since this is white, I just wanted a little bit of a tint to give them definition for the face. Otherwise, I had a bright pink, and I thought, we don't need Santa looking like he's been on the juice or something, so, or windburned from all that sleigh riding. And then just a little bit of black. This is Knit.Purl.Repeat fingering in black as well. As mentioned in the pattern, you could duplicate stitch these instead of putting them in there. You do 3 colors, strands, only when you're doing this round and I think this round, until you get done with the face. I didn't find it difficult. I just took the other 2 strands I wasn't using, and I held them to the front towards me just to keep them out of the way, and then grabbed them as I needed them. That seemed to work okay. For the Farmer's Daughter Fibers Sock Squad yarn set this month, it's the last month for the 2025 subscription year. This yarn I did not get early. Most of the other ones I got before the end of the month, the previous month it's for. This one arrived, I think, December 6th. So I got a lot of packages on December 6th. And I thought, because I went to look at spoilers because I wanted to see what the color was. I wanted to plan what I was going to make for the month. Because I'm knitting on so many things, I wanted to have an idea. Well, I had several ideas, and my mind changed a little bit once I saw the color and once I started thinking about other projects I wanted to make. But what I've landed on are the Vintage Bauble Socks pattern, and which I had on my queue to cast on for the winter before I cast on other things and kept casting on other things. Some of my other knitting is going so quickly, I thought, oh, you can't have too many socks on the needles. You can have too few needles and too few project bags, but never too many projects, in my opinion. If that stresses you out, I apologize, but that's how it is here. That's how we go. So let me show you the colors. So if you don't want to see the colors for December, if you're still waiting on yours and you don't want a spoiler, look away now. So here is the main color. It's going to blow out with the camera, and the contrasting mini already wound up because I've started the socks I'm making. So it's more like this color back here. I have started the cuff, so I am doing two concurrently. Because I am, again, I'm not going to change needle sizes at all. I decided to follow the pattern where it will increase stitch count instead. So I started with the 72 stitch count, and I've gone up to whatever it is, 80 something, 81, I don't know, whatever it is. Now for the color part of the leg. I am going to modify the pattern, and I'll talk about that a little bit, or maybe I'll save it as I go, probably when I'm done. I'm going to eliminate some of the work at the bottom. I'm not doing a contrast for the cuff, heel, or toe because I think I'm probably only going to have enough of the mini to work the color work. So I've only just started the color work. You can see I have the contrast just sticking out on my needles. So this set I am doing on two short circulars, US 1 2.25 millimeter needles. The other are on magic loop because those were the only needles that were free because I'm making other socks. So it starts off with this really nice faux cable at the top. I have a feeling that I did an extra plain row here because this distance seems bigger than there, but whatever. So you're just doing a slip stitch. So you're increase and then you decrease by passing the slip stitch over to create this faux cable appearance here in the cuff. And then you work the color work, and then it has a heel, flap, and gusset construction. And I will just, after the color work, I'm going to knit everything else just in stockinette in this main color. So I've just got started on these last night. Okay, if you were looking away, I am done showing my Sock Squad subscription yarn for December. If you are also a subscriber to that Sock Squad, let me know below what you're making this this month with your yarn, or are you saving it up? My big plan was to make the Anna's Dance Shawl pattern by Libby Johnson. I'll put a picture of it up here, using the main skein from the Sock Squad subscription, and then using up the leftovers that I have that would go with that skein for the repeating color changes in the panels below. And I did start to try to collect pictures. So I had this picture up here I posted on Instagram because those were the colors I was choosing from. But then I thought I didn't really like that idea because I didn't want that main color that we got for December as the main part of that shawl and then have all those other colors below. It just didn't work for me. I knew it just wasn't right. It kept hitting that spot in there that bothered me. So I thought, okay, that's not the project for it. Maybe that's something I can do in January with the new subscription and use leftovers, or I just make it anyway. I just need a different skein of yarn for that main section of the shawl. So that was my initial plan, but I'm very happy to make these socks when it dawned on me, why don't you make that with this yarn? So Vintage Bauble Socks it is. So that brings me up to some other acquisitions and some dream knits coming up. The Home Camisole by Kadri. I have been waiting on some fluff yarn to come in to hold with my yarn from Fiber MacGyver and that sequin yarn, and that has come in. I have not cast it on. That's getting cast on tonight, I think. Oh, today. It's black. I don't know if it'll be tonight. Also, why I didn't work on that One Love shawl that's in dark purples. is because I planned to work over the weekend and it was so dark and gray all weekend. I thought, I'm not sitting here, I have to have lights on all day to work on a shawl. No. So, and today is apparently not the day either. Anyway, for the camisole, I'm going to hold a strand of Surrey Stratus that I got in my order. This is what I actually went for when I looked on the Darn It Anyway website. And then I got the Cascade Heritage yarn, so throw that in there. I'm using it on the socks I just showed you. So this is lace weight, fingering weight. Let's see, I don't know. It's color 11, black. It is 68% Surrey alpaca, 32% nylon. I would put this has got to be fingering weight. It is fingering weight. I'm sorry, lace weight. Because there's the gable, just so you believe me. It is lace weight. I hope I have enough. I thought, for some reason, I thought I ordered 5. But it says on the sheet 3, and I ordered 3, so I guess I was thinking this will be enough. I think it's based off of another knitter's results from making it by holding a strand of lace weight. No, they held a strand of fingering weight with a strand of the cotton sequin yarn. I'm using a different one, but it's probably about the same thickness. Because the pattern is for a DK weight, but it's for a fluffy cashmere yarn that I would love to try one day, but I wasn't going to spend that money just on a little camisole for me. Not at this time, at least. So that is going to be cast on soon. So hopefully you see something of it next time I record. Also, what did I get? Let's talk about some acquisitions. Crinkling coming. No, a lot of people don't like it, I guess maybe just because the sound hurts their ears. I don't know. I like it because it makes me excited. Like, ooh, it's a package. What's inside? Try to go carefully. I happened to grab a bag of Baker's Dozen, a grab bag of Jamieson and Smith. I think it's upside down. There we go. Jamieson and Smith 2-ply jumper weight from the Woolly Thistle. When they had these, they get these only once a year or so, just rarely. You get a mix of whatever the packer has put in there, and that's it, which I agree with the shop. It's a great way to try out different colors and to have some colors that you wouldn't normally have chosen possibly, but it adds that extra little pop in your project. So I'm hoping that I can use all of these or most of these somehow in a colorwork vest where it's mostly the colors. So like a lot of colors. I'm not sure. It's just because otherwise, what stops me a lot of times from casting some of these things on is, well, I don't have the main color. I don't have enough of the main color. Or I do, but it's in black or it's in dark gray. You know, something's just not right about it. And I try not to buy other yarns, but I do have some other individual balls. I think I have something similar to this one already, so that's okay. A lot of really more neutral tones, and then I love these pops of like the apricot, and I don't know what this one is. This one is called salmon. So some great colors in there. I know the light's reflecting off of there, so we'll see. This will be something someday. Right. I also got a candle, a nice scent smelling candle, and some stitch markers to round out to get that free shipping. Okay. What is it? Oh, gnomes. No, I have not started my gnome. I do realize it is December 8th, but gnomes typically don't take very long. I think I'll wait until I get some socks done. So hopefully my socks with Santa on them will be finished, and then I can start it. I want to get the all work gnome play pattern, but I haven't purchased it yet, and I'm going to restrain myself and not purchase it until I'm ready to actually cast it on, which probably won't be until right before Christmas. But I have until the end of December to finish that, to enter it into the year-long make-along that is hosted by Sarah Shira, the pattern designer, over there on Imagined Landscapes. I've been making one every month this year, so this will be my last one for 2025. So I'm just going to hold off and not spend the money on it until right before I want to cast it Speaking of patterns, I announced the winners of the Wild Geese DK sock pattern giveaway, the pattern from Nancy Wheeler. I announced that in last week's episode, so if you haven't seen that episode, hop over there. If you entered to win one of the 2 patterns, digital patterns that are available, please go check that out and then contact me at Knit.Purl.Repeat podcast at gmail.com. That is in the description box for all my episodes. So contact me there so I can get that pattern sent out to you or whomever you want to be the recipient of that pattern. I probably will let that run throughout the rest of December to give people time to see it, because I know there are so many Vlogmases out there. People are busy doing things, and I want to give them a chance to see it, notice it, and contact me. If I don't hear from anyone, probably by the end of the month, then I will draw again and announce that at another time. I hope that your December is going well and that you've had some time to craft, do some work while you're sitting around here. I will put some footage in, I think, somewhere. I've taken a little B-roll somewhere here and there to add in at the end. Just random things we've been doing over this last week, not including the dentist visit. I don't even want to think about that. That's very kind of traumatic. So other happier things that we've done around here so far. So thanks so much for coming by, hanging out with me today. And please let me know what you're working on. If you'd like to, drop that in the comment box. If you have a question, you can post it there as well, or send me an email. I don't check that email very often, except for now. I'm checking to see if the winners have contacted me. You can also reach me on the Instagram or Ravelry messages from the contact information I have in the description box also. So until I see you next time, take care and happy crafting. Goodbye.